Hello again. This is Tim Brewer, pastor at Lomita and Bend United Methodist Churches. We've been putting out podcasts about the Bible in various ways and various perspectives because we are afraid that a lot of the stories of the Bible have been lost, and the ability to have a leverage or a platform on which to stand and try to understand the Bible. The Bible is a difficult book written by many authors a long time ago in a different language, different culture. So we're trying to provide some entry points into the Bible. We've been talking about Moses lately. Moses went through his childhood and talked about how he was plucked from the water. And in some ways, that's what he's going to be doing later on when he crosses the Red Sea. He's going to be plucked from the water that's going to save him. But now he's a prince of Egypt. The Pharaoh's daughter adopted him and raised him, and his mother was the nurse for him. It's a kind of strange twist of fate that they asked her to be the one who raised him. And we don't know how much of the Hebrew culture that she knew or that she shared with him, but it looks like he must have gotten something of it. He must have maybe known who he was because he's going to have a dramatic change in fate. He is now some 30, 40 years old, and he sees somebody abusing, overseer abusing a slave. It's a Hebrew slave and he uh, gets angry and strikes down that Hebrew overseer. Now, you'd think that the Hebrews would think that was great, that was uh, something that they appreciated. But it didn't turn out to be such as that. We don't know if he did it because he knew of his Hebrew heritage, or he just had a sense of justice, of doing the right thing, of the rights or the caring for the ones who are on the bottom of the society. But the next day, he comes back and the Hebrew slaves are talking to him, and they respond about, well, are you going to kill us too? And he realizes that since the Hebrew slaves know about him killing the overseer, that other people could learn pretty quickly. And so he has a rather dramatic change in fate. From the Prince of Egypt, he decides that he needs to escape so that he doesn't lose his life. Um, he may have heard rumblings about being a Hebrew and knew he was on the edge anyway. So he leaves and goes off into the wilderness. There he has a change of occupation. So this is his second career. He becomes a shepherd for his father-in-law. The father-in-law apparently, we don't know if he's Jewish or not. We don't know if he's a Hebrew or if he's for has some other kind of form of religion. But Moses becomes the shepherd for his father-in-law, and he marries, of course, and then he finds himself in the wilderness in a very solitary job, a very different job than the one he had before as a prince of Egypt. And he is a prince as he was about 40 years a prince of Egypt. About 40 years he's a shepherd in the wilderness. So you can see what's going to happen. All those who knew him, all those that were part of his culture, are going to be gone because the average age span, we don't know about that about Egypt, but in Jerusalem, among the Jews, it was about 30 years, and so all those folks would have died by now. But he receives a third calling. This is a career of the being called into the service of God. There's nothing to indicate that he's done anything or had any relationship with God for these 80 years, but that's all about to change. He sees a burning bush. The bush is burning like in the wilderness. That's not an unusual event. That lightning will strike, or the heat will rise, or something else will spark the bush to burn. But this time it's not consumed. And the burning bush is a sign of God's presence. Fire and smoke have always been a sign of God's presence. And so he comes aside, and a voice from the bush says, "Take off your shoes. You're on holy ground." So the holy ground can be anywhere where you are, that God speaks to you. That's the place where it's holy ground. And God's about to make a change in his life. And so we're going to follow Moses' trip into Egypt the next time. So I'll see you then.